So we've seen iPhone telephoto lenses before, but nothing quite like this. I mean, just look at the size of this thing. Today we're exploring the new 300 to 600mm Ultra Telephoto lens from Reeflex. Compression like we've never seen before on an iPhone, and focal length that competes in the same company as those enormous G-Master zoom lenses from Sony. So attaching this lens to your iPhone's telephoto camera gives you up to an enormous 24 times optical reach with image quality to match pro-level photography lenses. So what if I told you 5 years ago that all of these images were taken with the phone in your back pocket? You wouldn't have believed me. Back then, mobile phone photography was, pretty basic. Zooming in digitally to faraway objects was just a pixelated mess. Here in 2026, you can make an entire feature film using an iPhone and win some major Hollywood awards by doing so. But now things have evolved even further with the release of this Ultra Telephoto 300 to 600mm focal length. iPhone photography and videography can achieve things like never before. Professional subject isolation with foreground blur and background bokeh. Now, just to clarify, this 300 to 600mm is not actually a zoom lens like the name would imply. It's all to do with this tetraprism lens on the iPhone 17 Pro, and whether you're using the entire sensor readout or the cropped ×8 optical quality zoom. Attaching this beast transforms the tetraprism camera from a 100 to 200 into a 300 to 600mm equivalent lens. So just to give you an idea of scale and how far you can zoom into a scene with this lens, take a look at some of these examples. Suspended from this riverboat on the Thames was this random mirror ball. I took 3 images, one using the standard 24mm camera and 2 others with the Reeflex Telephoto lens. Enlarging the standard image reveals just how small the mirror ball is in the scene. With the 300mm telephoto, we get a massive jump on that subject matter. And finally, doubling the reach to 600mm with impressive clarity and compression. Here are some other examples of 300 and 600mm focal length using the London Eye as my subject. Now, portraits are an obvious choice for this telephoto lens because of those blurry, bokeh-licious backgrounds that you can get. Although 600mm requires a long shooting distance between camera and subject matter. Even at 300mm, the minimum focusing distance is around 6 to 8 meters. But that subject isolation that you can achieve with this lens is like nothing we've ever seen before on smartphone photography. Here's a portrait of yours truly with this new G-series lens. The closer you can get to the person you're photographing, the more out of focus backgrounds you're going to achieve. Now, you can't just use this lens with the basic iPhone camera app. It requires something a little more professional. We're talking about the new Reeflex Pro Camera version 3.0. New interface and new features. I mean, this thing is so similar to real DSLRs and mirrorless cameras because we now have things like focus stacking, exposure bracketing, slow shutter modes, and a feature that complements this new lens perfectly, which is called burst on tap mode. Let me show you how it works. So by opening up the settings and choosing additional options, down here we can toggle on burst on tap mode. Just below is what's called always display, which I recommend having switched on. I'll explain why in a tick. But most importantly, number of shots in the burst burst mode can go all the way up to 20. I'll settle on around 5 shots in the sequence. Finally, aggregate burst shots will group those 5 shots together in the gallery to keep things ordered. Top right corner is the always display burst on tap, so you can easily toggle this on and off without going into the settings. So let's say you're taking an image of a moving subject like a sports car on a racetrack. Burst on tap mode will ensure you capture the perfect moment within that group of 5 shots. So one of the major problems when shooting ultra telephoto distances like 300 or 600 millimeters is camera shake. Ideally, you'd want to be at 600th of a second minimum when shooting 600 millimeters. Ways around this is by using a tripod and a timer, or you could do this. So you could anchor and stabilize yourself to something solid like this lamppost. Now, if you followed this channel for a while, you've no doubt seen some of Reeflex's other lenses, like the 240mm, which at the time had groundbreaking focal range and was optically superior to most other smartphone lenses. Reeflex doesn't make just iPhone lenses. They are a complete ecosystem for the mobile phone camera sector. Camera apps like the brilliant time-lapse one called Relapse, which I am a big fan of. But now they're giving us things like this messenger bag to carry all of those pristine lenses and filters. Purpose-built for mobile phone photography, made from the highest quality materials, like this ballistic nylon, if that's even a thing, is it? Laminate waterproof front shield and those satisfying magnetic quick access pockets, which fits your NDs, your variable NDs, and up to 3 of your favorite reflex lenses, like the anamorphic cinema lens, which I have loved in the past, the 300 to 600mm of course, and the new long-range macro 75mm, which when used alongside the focus bracketing feature on the Pro Camera app, you can find the minimum focusing distance of the lens using either focus peaking or the magnifying glass, set the focus range for nearest and furthest objects, dial these values in, and then the number of shots in the stack, which I'll settle on 15. Then the Pro Camera version 3.0 will take those 15 raw images at varying focus points along the range that you set. Once those images are stacked in your preferred image software like Luminar Neo, the final result will be a perfectly in-focus subject at the macro level. But here's my favorite feature underneath, which is these bottom mounting straps for holding yet another one of their high quality products, which is the compact tripod. Purpose built for mobile phone photography, aerospace grade alloy, so it's as solid as you like, and the best part, no fiddly clips on the legs. Just one simple screw lock, boom, and you're up and running in a flash. So what we have here on this iPhone mount is a locking mechanism, and I've never seen one of these before. Because this lens is so heavy, it can really throw the whole camera off balance. So it's nice to know that it's locked in and secure, not going to fall on the floor. So final thoughts on this 300 to 600mm reflex lens. Having this much reach on an iPhone, it's pretty ridiculous. It's almost like having a telescope or a spyglass in your back pocket. But if I'm being honest, finding compositions to shoot at the full 600mm is actually pretty difficult, especially in a cramped city like London. Yes, it would be a definite advantage for the likes of nature and bird photographers, but 300mm with that ×4 telephoto range is the absolute sweet spot for the city and street photography. So much that you can capture with that 48 megapixel resolution as well. The Ultra Telephoto 300 to 600 is now available on Kickstarter from today. So if you did want to take advantage of that early bird offer, I'll pop links in the description below. If you're watching this video after the campaign has ended, then just check out their website and learn more and get your hands on one of these cool lenses or any of the G-series range and filter sets, the messenger bag, the tripod. Honestly, they've got it all going on. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a thumbs up as ever, and please subscribe to the channel to help me out as a content creator. My next video is going to be about a monstrous lens called the 135 art lens from Sigma. It's going to be a good one. Check it out. I'll see you on the flip side.